Gemini, welcome. My name is Ali from Indigo Ascension. Thanks for being here. If this is your first time here, please do go ahead and check out the description box below where you'll find links to my Facebook and my website address to learn a little bit more about the work that I do with Indigo Ascension as an intuitive energy healer and reader. If you are returning, thanks for being here, thanks for watching. I'm going to do something a little bit different with the June Fortnightly. So this is a reading covering June 1st to the 15th. As you guys may know, or if you're a first-time watcher, this channel is dedicated to empaths, intuitives, and sensitives. So I do cover a lot of what I call soul healings and readings. Okay, they're about activating you to that next level of your path and journey. It's about integrating high consciousness and wisdom. More than anything, these messages will intend to just confirm what you already know, Gemini. It's not about seeking outside approval and guidance. You know, these are old world paradigms, if you like. You know, it's one thing to research and want to educate ourselves and expand our awareness, but it's quite another then to rely and hand over our power. Yeah, so this is confirming what you already know. The intention is there for higher healing in that regard and activation. But I'm wanting to do something different. I want to cover your energy and the other. So as much as we know that we've got some higher consciousness and wisdom available to us, it's quite another thing then to ground that down into the everyday realities we find ourselves in. Hey Gem, it's about accepting that, yep, I know that on a thought level, I've manifested this, but thought, prayer, manifestation, all of that stuff is great, but it is action that counts in the eyes of the universe, and ultimately it is action that activates transformation within our lives and within the self. So we will certainly notice with all of these retrogrades going on, there are 5 planets in retrograde in June, 2 eclipses, there's going to be a lot of volatile activity, and the nature of retrogrades is to stir up the pond water, and now this pond water is coming up into our awareness as old fears, triggers, old wounds we thought we had healed, ways in which we've been told to believe, live, love, connect, build, live by rules, whatever the case may be. Coming to the surface, and it's wanting out, Gemini. Now, when Mercury goes into retrograde, it is known as a communication planet, yes, but perhaps it's known as, oh God, it's Mercury retrograde, because really what Mercury wants for us most is strong communication, authentic communication, to speak our truth, be centered at our core, know who we are and know what our boundaries are. What happens in Mercury retrograde is we're retrograding through old lessons continually, yeah, about how we've never spoken our truth, how we struggle to communicate openly with others, perhaps. Hence, we have Mercury retrograde issues. The invitation there is, with all of this energy bubbling below the surface that we've all had time to mull over in May and June, is now it wants out. And traditionally, I guess, when we're experiencing conflict within self, we don't know how to identify that quickly from a higher consciousness point of view, so we find ourselves tempted with the opportunities to react, and we'll see this happening in the collective and within our family and friendship circles and with self. Why am I suddenly feeling frustrated? You know, do you think the first thought I'm going to have is, oh, it's because Pluto is retrograde and I'm bringing up subliminal fears here? Well, some of us do. Not everyone does. This is like a check-in point, Gemini, okay? So if you're confronted with those spiritual classrooms where you're experiencing conflict in your connections, your relationships, your soul path, whatever the case may be, this is where we double check and see how that lines into what you know on a higher level, and reflect even what this might mean for you, okay? As we look at the other, as we look at this opportunity, this conflict, whatever it is that you're intending this reading for. Alrighty, 2 eclipses. So we've had our full moon lunar eclipse in, everyone's getting the lovers. Everyone's getting the lovers. We've had our full moon lunar eclipse in Sagittarius, and we'll also be having a solar eclipse in Cancer at the end of the month. Okay, let's take a look. Now, Gemini, did I say Mercury? Sorry, I said Mercury retrograde, Gemini. And then Venus will complete its retrograde. So over the last 8 weeks, Gemini, we've been integrating wisdom lessons about divine love. We've been integrating this wisdom of Venus that it's been trying to infuse on us. And now that we find ourselves here in Gemini season, you guys completely understand. how conflicting it's perhaps been for you, but how much you've perhaps learned internally as well, because this Venus retrograde has been ruled by you guys. Now, you guys are the communicators. There's going to be a lot of communication, not just in your own life, but around you, within connections where you're starting to communicate about love. Like I do see here, there's something getting in the way of love is what I want to say. Okay, there's practical considerations, third-party energy. All right, that is preventing me from openly communicating. This also feels like I want to get rid of it. Now, that third-party energy could be somebody's influence. That could be an influencing energy. That could be how much time is spent at work. All right, there's something wanting to penetrate the energy in between. I'm communicating a practical start to something that feels like love to me as well. But yeah, I felt a real penetration here. So I'm using the word penetration. Sorry. Feels like a really, this feels like third party energy to me. Because of the way it's sitting. What's getting in your way, Gemini? Who's getting in your way of your divine love, or what divine love means for you? Is it how much time is it your work? You're communicating something here, but certainly also the other side of this fence is wanting to communicate a beginning that perhaps there's something in your way. I feel the block, okay? And now that I'm looking at the other, there's definitely an ending and retreat energy. All right, but this is the falling in love card. The Eight of Wands is very much, it's it's fast moving energy. Things are happening way too fast, or faster than I can handle. So I do want to say it's practical to get grounded, to take a moment, look at what's being started, do a review. There's head-heart decisions here about a beginning, about how much I want to invest. It's also the Apprentice card, so I'm starting again in some way in the realms of love or connectivity. I'm needing to start again in the realms of communication. I strongly feel this is infiltrating energy, wanting to interrupt. Like if you're feeling frustration this month, Virgo, wow, I said Virgo because maybe you are connected into a Virgo, Gemini. If you're feeling frustration energy, there's something getting in your way of this new beginning. Okay, Gem? This might be you getting frustrated with how much time you have to spend at work, because it's the Three of Coins. It's a career thing. It's a money thing. Money might be getting in the way. There's only communication, okay? Being able to come together to practically see each other, because we've got restrictions. So there's a lot of online communication here. And perhaps it's the only way in which to connect, is what I want to say, is what I'm picking up on. There's message after message after message, but I feel like why do I feel like it's trying to disrupt a beginning? I don't know if there's been a new connection, there's a new beginning you're trying to disrupt. There's a beginning here you're wanting to disrupt. This feels like disruptive Eight of Wands energy. When I just looked at it and it was like piercing and penetrating this. Let me just intuit. It is actually odd how I randomly get these sensations and different meanings. Like I know what the meanings of the tarot are. There's something preventing you from love. There's something getting in the way of love. There's something keeping love away from you. Work is getting in the way, so you might be experiencing these issues in your romantic connection, okay? That this third party energy is yours or another's focus on their work. There's something outside of the connection. You're wanting to remove that influence, is what I'm feeling here. You're wanting, this is also tying into money. It also ties into money. I really want to clarify this. Okay, other side of the fence. I'm going to suggest that if this is a thing, okay, the best thing you can do is retreat. really gain some wisdom about what this energy has been teaching you, because I'm picking up on frustration. I'm picking up on wanting to cut something out, infiltrate something. I'm feeling really blocked. I'm really wanting a new beginning, but I can't. I don't want this new beginning too, is what I was feeling. That's why I feel like I really need to clarify it. There's a deep call here to go within, get the wisdom within. Like I said, there's Virgo energy here. There's an ending here that I feel needs to be acknowledged. Okay? There's an ending here that needs to be acknowledged and seen for what it is. Because I am picking up on a lot of conflict stuff here. Alright? Toxic stuff. Now, I don't say that lightly, because it's just interesting that I felt that alchemy when I was connecting into this, because it's actually quite a beautiful new beginning. I do feel that someone wants a new beginning and someone is done, is what I'm going to say, Gem. That I might even be communicating my desires for a beginning and it's just not being received. Yeah, this person is not talking to anyone. Well, this person is not responding to these messages. I feel like a stagnant energy here, and it's not just stagnancy, it's keeping to self, not engaging with this energy, because I do see here there's conflict if I engage in toxic behaviors. If I engage in conflict that ultimately is fueled by toxic desires, control behaviors, ways in which we allow our shadow self to play out, it will always only ever lead to this, always, for self, for the other. And there's been wisdom gained here, Gemini. There's been quite the journey of retreat into self, to the point that wisdom has been gained about the purpose of the swords, the purpose of betrayal in life. Okay, our betrayals do give us a lot of wisdoms about what it is we ultimately want to retreat into. Okay, the Four of Swords is like a prayer card. It is going into temple. Above this individual, he's put down his sword. He does not want to engage in conflict, does not want to engage. He's wanting to be solitary. In relation to this, he wants to go into self, to the point that that's what he's committing to, the connection to his wisdom. And putting his sword down, he's not taking part in this, because this energy takes two, yeah? We can do this as much as we want, but it takes two to respond and react, and then so the game continues, so the chaos continues. Not wanting to take part, I've hung up my sword. I have kept my Three of Swords suspended above me as a reference and a reminder of my why. Why am I retreating and not engaging? Because I remember the heartbreak and trauma. Now, the Three of Swords is ruled by betrayal, heartbreak and trauma, and this just amplifies it. Like, this individual doesn't want to go back to this energy because they know it'll lead to this, an ending. Okay, they keep the memory of the wisdoms they've learned from their Three of Swords energy, from the heartbreak, from betrayal, and they keep it as a memory and take only what is good, the good stuff, okay? The fond memories, yes, but almost like not enough for me to want to engage. Okay, because I know it's going to lead to this. I felt a very distinct separation with this. There's a desire here for wanting to be recognized. Like I said, okay, so the devil is our shadow human selves, the way in which we connect when ultimately we're just getting in relationship with each other's demons, is what I was thinking. You know, we can decide, I no longer want to experience love like that. Because look at this, Gemini. Two different kinds of relationships here, two different experiences of love. This came up in the Scorpio reading. Maybe you're connecting into a Scorpio. A lot of the signs have been getting the Divine Lovers card. We are in Venus retrograde in the sign of Gemini. Gemini, you guys rule the lovers. Okay? You guys know that love can look like this or it can look like this. The devil is ruled by Capricorn. Capricorn is about structure. It's a very Saturn energy, okay? So it's ruled by structures and the ways in which we do things. It's the sins of the father. God, I'm getting cryptic. There's a difference between feminine energy and divine feminine energy. And there's a difference between masculine energy and divine masculine energy. Bear with me as I dip into my little world of theory. Now, our whole world, the generation I grew up in, we were raised by single parents. It was perhaps the first generation that were, you know, not very far off anyway. To the point where we are now, Gemini, we have had children as single parents, whether we've struggled with co-parenting or not. You know, look at the difference between the generation of my parents and those that came before them, and how they viewed connection, and they just stayed till death do they part. And that's a beautiful ideal. But was there fear of judgment? Was there fear of religion? Was there fear of what my family would think? Yeah, these energies has kept us stuck until the point that our society, we experienced freedom, and that because we were oppressed and we wanted to get out of rules and boundaries, our society has since showed us that we have options, to the point that we normalized, because it was a sin, to deflect away from the devotion, yeah? So there's this snake, right? We always know that temptation always exists. I'm not saying that cheating and infidelity has never existed. I'm not saying that pure intentions have never existed. But there was a point in our timeline, in our history, that it was culturally unacceptable. It was, fundamentally unacceptable in our value system to separate, divorce, cheat. It was all these big no-nos, yeah? But how common is it now? How common is it now to experience connection like this? And now we can stay in a relationship, in a marriage that is imbued with that dense toxicity. Now, this is our human self, and we are always forever on a journey transmuting that, understanding that, knowing that we have a choice every day. This is the same card. Look, we can live and love like that and connect like that, or we can live and love like this. And would it be so far-fetched to say that perhaps our whole society is like this? Like, look at the porn industry and how common. We've almost sexified and glorified this, okay, there's a very big difference between empowerment and power, okay? There's a very big difference between empowerment and power, just like there's a very big difference between unconditional love and conditional love. Conditional love tells me, or makes me feel I have to look, be a certain way, that's unacceptable, whatever the case may be. Unconditional love makes me feel free. Perhaps in our everyday human society that we live in, it is very rare to discover unconditional love in a connection outside of family, okay? We all know family is just so, the fundamental structures of family are so broken now. Our highest hope of experiencing unconditional love is perhaps in the relationship between a child and a parent, yeah? Even still, we see that doesn't happen either. Not all of the time. What has happened to connection in our society? What has happened to our concept of love? What rules have we been living by, Gemini? That society has told us that we've just normalized, that we've normalized conflict, we've normalized temptation to the point it is a way of life. And now this is not me getting on my high horse being biblical, like fundamental, pure intentions, the wisdom that we inherently know, what I want for myself on an open-hearted level, so I can experience true soul freedom. Yeah, where I'm not bound by any energy cords or anything that holds me down to a false sense of having to be something that I'm not, so that I can connect into someone else's. This is who I am. This is what I have to offer, and I do not have to play games. I do not have to be toxic in my fears that I'm projecting, and I'm not having to feel like I need to control them because I feel unsafe, because I'm playing out abandonment issues. Whatever the case may be, or that I feel like I need someone in order to feel safe. We only ever need ourselves. It's beautiful to share space with someone, but perhaps it's only beautiful if it looks like this. We have normalized this in our society. And I'm bound to that belief that that's just how things are, and women are just like that, and men are just like that, and he's probably cheating if he's looking at his phone too long, and I'm going to send a message to get their attention because I know they love booby pics, or whatever the case, you know, like this. Oh, I swear to God, I'm 9,000 years old. I feel like this is our old world and this is our new world, Gemini. And this is the gift of the retrogrades. What have we learned about love? What have we learned about rules? What have we learned about truly expanding into manifestation? Like we can say, as in the spiritual community, you'll see it. I want to learn how to manifest. I want to manifest. Are you willing to wear the weight of consequences and responsibility that come with that energy? Because it means expansion, and you must be willing to expand whatever's internal. And sometimes when we work with manifestation energy, we're going to expand the shit out of the density. I need to make some videos around these things because it doesn't belong. I feel like I've got to tell you though, otherwise it wouldn't be coming out. I just want them to love me, you know. Is that this or is that that? You know, truly to be able to say that I am happy in here, because I know it is here that I will find the love of my life, the wisdom of my soul. And it is from here that I can build from the ground up all over again and truly understand the wisdom of this. And understand that all of these are ultimately a gift. The hermit carries a lantern, but there is no candle. It is the star. It is the star that has fallen from the heavens. It is a cosmic gift. It is a spiritual gift. Even though they came wrapped in dark packages, it taught him something about himself, about who he is and what he will choose to light his path. He is not focused on the past, he's not focused on the future, he only sees in the here and now. And there is something potently valuable about taking time out and away to truly analyze how the trauma and heartbreak has influenced us, that we are painting pictures and keeping memories that keep us stuck to them, that we refuse to connect with anyone on a genuine, authentic level, Gemini. Okay, like I said, your reading again is going to have to be wrapped up soon. There's a distinct difference in a relationship that we have with self that looks like this and one that looks like that. And if our relationship with self is like this, our relationship with others will be like that. It is the mirror. All connections, all experiences are a mirror of what's going on internally. If my connection with myself is genuinely like this, because I've spent time alone and I've truly dedicated my path to embodying my higher wisdom, the wisdom of my pains, and I've acknowledged them and haven't just repressed them so that I'm emitting them on other people, yeah? That's what this is. My energy is emitting and I'm constantly recreating conflict on some level. Then the relationship I have with myself, if it's like this, it will be like that with others. Wise, because I know that temptation will always exist, but I will always remain risen with my head held high to the life force, the sun, the spiritual principles, yeah, represented by the angel, of what it is I choose every moment. I know as a human being in the society I live in, I can choose this on any level, on every level. Or I can choose this. This is that constant energy of temptation that is featured in all religious practices, all spiritual practices. Why do we have to juggle the two? We are human, we are spiritual. How do we successfully merge so that we are whole? Why does there have to be polarity? We know that we are completely empowered in our choice. And like I said, there is a very, very big difference between power and empowerment. You feel it in an individual when they are in your presence. You can feel their presence, Gemini. You can tell the ones that are vibrating at that on every level. Not that they necessarily want to control me, but they, they're probably playing out abandonment issues. They're probably playing out toxic behaviors. That this connection to me is serving a purpose on some level, not a wholesome one. Same to me with them, okay? We are always in relationship with each other's demons until we are not. And it takes a goddamn lot of work to transmute our beliefs about love to get us to here. It takes a lot of solitude on some level. It takes a lot of healing. It takes a lot of acceptance. I feel a distinct disconnect simply because I feel that there's something here you are wanting, and I feel it. I feel it, I really do. But I'm going to suggest that the cards are suggesting that this is a time of solitude and accepting the boundaries of another, if that is appropriate. Accepting the boundaries of another, accepting the wisdom that they have the divine right to their own wisdom about what is right for them. There's a retreat here, okay? I'm also going to encourage that if this is you, in order to get to your goal, you're wanting to infiltrate something here. Remember what I said? You're wanting to, I don't know if you're wanting to interrupt a connection, because that's definitely this energy. You're wanting to tempt someone away from a connection that looks perhaps like this, and your behaviors are perhaps like this. I'm just going to put it out there. That might be your experience. It might be happening to you, Gemini. Like I said, take what resonates, okay? This felt like interfering energy, infiltration of a beginning. I'm desperately wanting to communicate a new beginning as well, but there's work here that needs to be done. I felt like it was separate, okay? There's a deeper desire here for recognition, but I feel like that answer is yet to be uncovered in this process, and there's a requirement here to really process what this is. It's slow-moving energy because essentially it is higher principles at play. Like I said, you might be connecting into an earth sign, okay, but this is also a Taurus. There's an awakening, a next level of your awakening that is yet to happen. There is an awakening that is yet to happen, where structures, forms, foundations, everything you've ever believed about love, commitment, intimacy, whatever the case may be, spiritual beliefs, falling down. There's a need here. There's higher work at play for the circumstances, the delays, the deeper integrations here, and it's going to take a lot of courage. Okay, but you can do it. August feels significant. Last August feels significant more so. There's been an assessment since last August about your 10 of Pentacles, family, all right, the dynasty, and the burdens that are associated. All right, but this is, wow, there's 3 10s now, but 10-10. Okay. 10-10 is a portal. 3 10s, there's definitely many chapters closing here. Storylines, realities. Well, sorry, it is endings and beginnings because the 9 is endings, but the way you think, the way you experience your energy and your passions, okay? The way you practically apply the wisdoms of the lessons, all right? Coins, wands, swords. Your thought body, your energy body, your physical body. There are transmutations and formations happening. You will notice this. If we're feeling energy, it's because we're thinking thoughts and we're starting to manifest a sore back, a pain in the back, whatever the case may be. There's processes here being transmuted, and foundations need to come crumbling. Realities, relationships come crumbling for a reason. An ending was necessary, will be necessary to truly, like even an ending to your current state of beliefs about self, and an ability to go and get what is rightfully yours. And when we're going to get what is rightfully ours, you know, there's a difference between this and this when it comes to intention. When it comes to the power of intention and the powerful difference between empowered energy and powerful energy. Empowered energy is powerful, it is potent, but it seeks not to gain, it seeks just to be. Powerful energy seeks to extract from another. Look at our whole world. Our whole world, even the way we treat Mother Earth, we are extracting energy from her. The resources, we're depleting it, yeah? Extraction energy, extraction energetic connections only last for so long. That energy supply will eventually run out. Empowered connections, empowered individuals that know how to empower themselves or connect into a sense of empowerment. Do you know where they get their energy from? The infinite. It is never ending, it is divine, and it is sourced on a shit story that looks like this, looks like that. This is necessary because we're connecting into this, and that has the ticket of the key. That is the ticket and the key to access that supply. And it's not until we have this moment, Gemini, that we realize any of it, because we live in a world that makes us think this is normal. You wouldn't even think that someone is depleting your energy or trying to impose on your energy or extract from your energy emotionally, mentally, physically, until you are actually aware of it. Like, I think I joked about this in the Cancer reading. First time we ever discovered a narcissist was because we had to Google it, yeah? Empaths, you're gonna know all this. You've definitely Googled the term. The first time I ever learned about unhealthy relationship dynamics was because I was in search of trying to understand that, you know? Didn't know what toxic codependency was until I had to look it up. Why was I looking it up? Because I was experiencing it. That too is us, Gemini. I feel like in many ways the Geminis I'm connecting in are about to be taken on a next level of your awakening. Now maybe this has happened to you and you have retreated for sure, you know? That connection, that the wondering, you know, the binds that bind us is because we're bound by the mutual desire to process and transmute shadow elements of self. And that karmic pull between you and the other, between us and the other, will always be super strong, sexually, emotionally, mentally, physically, whatever the case may be. That is when the darkness is wanting to connect so strongly, and it's going to feel like, I'm so drawn to them. This connection is so powerful. You know why? Because above all else, dark wants to be transmuted. It desires it, you know, like moths to a flame. Darkness will always seek light. And yes, we can say empath and narcissist, whatever the case may be, but you know what? Let's take accountability as empaths and accept the fact that we have a shadow and light. And our shadow will always draw in the shadow of another. And what if we're both narcissists? What if we're both empaths? We both know what all of those masks are in the multidimensional aspects of self. But when there's a draw like that, a desire like that, it is because both sides are wanting to transmute the darkness. Because peace feels odd, doesn't it? In our world, in our society, in our connections, there's no drama, that something must be going on. They must be talking to someone else. I've got to cause some drama. We know how these dynamics play out. Peace is odd. Unconditional love is rare. True congeniality is not always experienced. And it takes a lot of work to really drop old ways, old beliefs, old ways in which we connect. And there's an even stronger pull when we know that final release will be happening, okay? So energetically be aware of that on spiritual levels. There will be just this strong desire to break up stuff, or that's what I was feeling. Okay, my lovely gems. the Knight of Pentacles. It's slow moving energy. It's a process, okay? But you're wanting to commit to something, a new path, a new thing, okay? I'm just letting the message come out as it was. Maybe it was relevant to you. Maybe it was relevant to a connection you have recently come out of. At any rate, it is time to release regret. Use your imagination and with courage. Okay, look at this. It is time to release the energy of regret because it keeps our sacral chakra stagnant, okay? And with imagination, using our third eye and seeing things in a whole new way, with imagination and courage, we can truly connect into the energy of empathy, because this is who we are, and this is what that situation was truly teaching us. And there are many sides to empathy. Like I said, there is the shadow and the light. There's an energy of forgiveness here, but deeper still, a desire for happiness, okay? The journey can be excruciating, but only if we fundamentally refuse to integrate the wisdoms. It is at the point when we know better, we can then have the freedom to choose to do better, okay? You are empowered and you are magnificent. Connect into authenticity and know how that feels for you, and you will always know whoever is emitting authentic energy towards you too. Okay, Jam, have a beautiful couple of weeks of June. If you haven't already, please like, share, subscribe if this message has been of resonance or of some help and guidance to you. Hope to see you next time, later in June. Bye for now.